How's it going, everybody? It's DJ Hims here, your professional wedding DJ and bilingual announcer. And guys, today we're going to discuss how to go about in creating an effective timeline. All right, guys, so usually when I meet with my clients, I have two meetings, the initial meeting and the final meeting. So during the initial meeting, that's the meeting where we go ahead, sign the contract. It's our first, if I don't know them, it's our first person-to-person meeting. It's where they pay the deposit. And then once those things are taken care of, I go ahead and start drafting out a rough copy of the timeline. Like I literally grab a piece of paper and a pen and start, I start asking them questions. So at 4 o'clock, is that your ceremony? At 5 o'clock, is that your cocktail hour? 6 to 7:30 is usually dinner. Is that what you want to do? And with their answers, that's what I'm writing down. And guys, usually, the bride and the groom, they never really planned a wedding. They're all over the place. They're clueless. They really don't know, how to plan it out, at what time is what. So this is where you come in, and with your experience, you kind of go ahead and help them out. And you say something like, well, usually from 6 to 7:30 is dinner. At 7:30 is the cake cut, followed by a toast. Right after the toast, we play 5 minutes of background music, and then we start getting ready for the first dances, and so on and so on. And guys, usually the reaction from the clients is, wow, we got a wedding planner and a DJ all at once. And they say it, they say it jokingly, but guys, if you can do an effective timeline, you save them money by, not really getting a wedding planner. So go ahead, create that timeline, ask them all the questions. And one question that I ask them, and they always seem to say, wow, we never thought of that, is, how would you like to be introduced? Would you like to say Mr. and Mrs.? Would you like me to use your first name? Now we have the bride. So, ask them those questions that they wouldn't even think of asking you. So that's the initial meeting. You go ahead, write down the timeline, create that rough draft. After your meeting, you go home, you want to type up an email, you want to type up the timeline, and you send them an email saying something like, hey, it was a pleasure to meet with you. Here's a rough copy of the timeline. It is attached down below. If you have any changes or if you would like to add anything to the timeline, please let me know. That way I can update the timeline. Boom. So guys, throughout the weeks and months, the clients are going to send you a lot of updates, a lot of changes. It always happens. And the rough draft never stays the same. They're going to keep updating. They're going to keep sending you updates of the timeline, and it's up to you. It's definitely up to you to go ahead and make sure you have those updates completed on the timeline. That way, on the final meeting, usually my final meeting, I do it days before the wedding, the week of the wedding. So we meet up in person again, and we finalize the timeline. So that way we make sure we're on point, we're all on the same page. We rehearse the timeline. If there's any final changes, this is that time to do it. And you go through the whole timeline and you tell your clients, hey, I'm gonna make sure everything is on point. We're on time. I want you guys to have fun. I want you guys to have peace of mind. Don't stress out. I'm gonna be in charge of making sure, if we have the toast at 7:15 and you guys are running a little behind, I'm gonna come up to you and say, hey, look, we have the toast at 7:15. It's 7:20. Would you need a little more time, or do you wanna go ahead and do the toast in the next few minutes? And guys, this is such a good look for you. It makes you look very professional. The bride is gonna be very impressed. They're gonna highly recommend you, and best of all, they're gonna give you a 5-star review. So that's pretty much it, how I go about it, creating an effective timeline. Start with the rough draft and the initial meeting. In the months and weeks, prior to the wedding, ask them for any updates, any changes, update the timeline. And the final meeting, rehearse that timeline. Any final changes, go ahead and do so. And be that wedding planner and the DJ the day of the wedding, guys, is gonna give you such a good look. If you have any questions about this, please make sure you go ahead and post it in the comments below. Guys, I'm also gonna post a link with a sample timeline. It's actually one of the timelines that I've used in one of my previous weddings. I obviously took out the names and put some generic names in there, but go ahead, guys, check out that timeline. You can even use it as a template. Also, guys, I have a free ebook that I went ahead and created for you. It's 10 steps, how to go about it becoming a professional wedding DJ. It's also in the description down below. If you found that ebook to be helpful, please come back and post something in the comments. And guys, go ahead, like, share this video, post any comments, any questions you might have, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Once again, guys, my name is DJ Hims, your professional wedding DJ and bilingual announcer.